Share via email. Report story. By Fev1 Lanes SW4NTS, GR33N8 UNI and 1 Zaboy 574N. Original title. Thank you. Thanks for everything you did for me. Manga spoilers. After the day of his return to Ua, Izuku meets Ochako during breakfast time and personally thanks her for helping him. Set after CHP 327, some events from chapters 320, 324, 325 are mentioned. Equals 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 dot. Izuku rubbed his eyes in annoyance after coming out of his dream box. He woke up agitated because he just had a nightmare, again, and it has something to do with All for One. As the green-haired boy's quirk, One for All is connected to the villains. Which meant that he could even see it in the remnant world at times as a source of terror in his dreams. All of this from his responsibility as the heir to One for All to stop and take down the two most dangerous villains was a very stressful and traumatic job at the same time. At least he had the company of former OFA users, who offer him his comfort and support during the times that Izuku has been alone, as Yoichi promised. After all, Izuku viewed them as family. Putting aside the issue of his quirk, his attention focused on the warm atmosphere of his surroundings. This wasn't the street or an empty part of some alley. And why'd I feel the warmth of a blanket? And also why'd I feel cleansed? The freckled boy let out a loud yawn and his pupils wandered in different directions from the place where he is currently. Wait, this environment was very familiar. Oh God, I'm back to Ua. His mood lifted as he saw the faint illumination radiating through the curtain in his room, indicating that it was dawn. Yes, that same room is full of All Might merchandise located in the UA Heights Alliance, which hadn't been brought in there in months. At last, a new day. That was a great relief. Yesterday has been a difficult day for the green-haired man. Very likely that day would be very marked in his memory. And he was not referring to the immense rain that there was, it was about other matters. Izuku sighed in exhaustion as he remembered all the terrible and tragic events that had happened since his last semester before the end of his first year as a UA student. Shigaraki was primarily responsible for destroying many people's homes. Some pro-heroes were able to survive after risking their lives to stop him, but unfortunately, not all of them had the same luck. Although some of Shigaraki's allies were stopped, the villains won this time anyway. With many homeless people, the revelation of Dabi as the lost son of Endeavor to the public, the destruction of Tartarus, and fugitive villains doing their thing made most people lose trust and faith in the heroes, and now they started to throw all the blame on them. A crunch in his stomach made Izuku get out of bed and go for his breakfast. He was hungry, very hungry. He regrets leaving All Might that night before going off on his own. During his time patrolling the streets alone, Izuku fed on some supplies, but it wasn't enough for his own nutrition. He left his room and then headed towards the elevator doors. After pressing the button, Izuku waited patiently as the elevator did its job of taking him to the first floor. It's been a while since he was around, he didn't deny it. Izuku admitted that he had missed living on campus. The air of nostalgia vanished as the elevator doors opened to reveal the main pavilion. As he passed through the common room, Izuku noticed that the environment was completely empty and silent, with no trace of his classmates. The fact was that other 1A students still remained within their own rooms. Probably very tired of yesterday's events. Izuku understood them after how they spent his energy to bring him back to campus. That's why they deserve their day off. Apart from that, classes at UA have been temporarily suspended until further notice, which meant that students are free of assignments and exams. Promoted stories. You'll also like Zero Deku Onishots 31.3K791 because of circumstances, this book won't be continued unfortunately. Feel free to check out my other stuff. Thank you for understanding. Free. Onishots 149K3K. This is a collections of free X readers. Requests on this are now closed. Not all heroes wear capes. Some just have 8.42.4K 1.4 kilo. Everybody. This is a suicidal, depressed Deku book with Dadmic. Will their bond grow? Will Mike fuck up? Will Izuku try to kill himself? Find out yourself. Number 1 Radio. The Kings and Queen Yandere Wakfu X Reader, 55.7K 1.8 Kyonder. Wakfu X Reader. Images do not belong to me unless stated. Wakfu does not belong to me, it belongs to Enigma. This is being rewritten in another book on my profile. Mirko X Shy Male Reader 166K 1.1 Key. Don't own MHA. I hope you enjoy the story I made. I am. Sequel of UR check mark 69.4K 1.8K. This book is the sequel of UR, so better read that first before going here. Tears of joy, tears of joy. Thank you to that one reader that suggested this title. I can't see you sad face, but thank you. Wow, I guess I'm the first to wake up, so that means I'll have to eat breakfast alone. His dialogue in his mind was interrupted when the green-haired teenager saw a source of light coming from the kitchen. This made Izuku a bit anxious over the fact that someone woke up earlier than him. He wondered who it could be, but at least he would have some company at his breakfast. Curiosity, and hunger too, made Izuku speed up his steps towards the illuminated place. When he entered the dining room, Izuku's eyes widened when he noticed a familiar brown hair located from the counter. The figure was turned away and sitting on one of the stools while she drank from a glass. His heart was starting to pound and his cheeks turned red when he saw Uraraka. His first friend at UA and best friend of his. The girl he had feelings for and made him nervous when she was too close to him. And the most recent. The same person who convinced him to stay and defended him courageously with a megaphone from a crowd of people, from the top of the UA High building. On a rainy day, a moving image that touched the depths of his heart and will always remain etched in his memory. After the civilians left him alone, he was comforted by Kutra-kun and a giant woman with a mutated quirk, who recognized him as his savior, while being guided by a supportive Iida, got a tearful reunion with his mother, and then being soaked up numerous times in the bathtub, courtesy of the 1A boys. When he met up with the rest of his classmates in the common room, Izuku wanted to talk to Uraraka and thank her for what he did. Although he still did not have that opportunity because they told him that the girl went to rest early. Getting rid of his nerves, Izuku breathed an exhale, stabilizing his composure, and walked over to the table where the brunette was. You can do it, yes. Gee, good morning, Uraraka-san. Ochako put down the glass when she heard a shy voice she knew so well and turned from her stool to see that boy with fluffy green hair who was greeting her with a nervous smile while clumsily shaking his hand. Oh, Deku-kun, nice to see you again. How did you sleep last night? She greeted him with the same cheerful smile as always, visibly glad to see him again. Izuku took a few steps forward, as he was captivated by the kind and radiant greeting. I'm fine, thanks for asking. Izuku played with his fingers as he looked closely at a glass of orange juice and a bowl of cereal. Sorry if I interrupt your snack time. I think I should have knocked on the door. Ah, don't worry, Deku-kun. On the contrary, I'm glad to have some company at breakfast. I've only been here 5 minutes before. She pouted. It would be boring to be alone in the dining room. Yes, I think the same. At first, I thought I was the only one awake, but it's nice to meet you, Uraraka-san. Saying that, the boy blushed at his own words. That is to say, I also like to be accompanied. Izuku really slapped himself internally. Oh shit, why did I have to say this? After that, I behaved like a stubborn person who wanted to work alone on my mission. Now that I remember, I must apologize for this. Coincidence, huh? She chuckled. So how about we eat together while we chat? The girl let out a muffled sigh. It's been a long time since we spent some free and relaxing time with each other. Noticing the feeling of nostalgia and awareness of it, Izuku got the message and gave her a small smile. Sounds like a good idea to catch up. Just give me a second to make my breakfast and I'll sit with you. Okay, take your time. She caught a glimpse of Izuku preparing her own snack. The green-haired man wasted no time and quickly went for his All Might-themed mug on a shelf where the rest of the mugs belonging to his teammates were kept. Being careful not to break someone else's cup, Izuku managed to get his that was farther away. Not without first giving it a wash in the sink. Then he filled it with hot milk and smoke began to rise from his cup as he searched the fridge for some snack. Izuku wanted to drool when he found a variety of foods to choose from. There would be fruits, vegetables, container salads, eggs, cookies, and more bottles of milk. There are several options, but I'll choose something with calcium and vitamin, he muttered to himself before taking a container of salad and 3 eggs. Izuku decided to go for healthy foods mainly due to his habit of keeping fit. With his breakfast ready, Izuku led him over to the kitchen counter and joined Uraraka, who longed to have a moment alone with her crush, her best friend. Her friend. That is, Deku sees her only as a friend. Right. The green-haired boy sat on a stool facing the opposite direction and looking face to face with the brunette. Obviously, their shyness made them both uncomfortable, but the calm atmosphere made them enter with more confidence. As they got on with their breakfasts, the two teams had a lot to talk about. Their talk began with laughter when Izuku told her how his stay had gone after his return to the dorms, including the part where he was forcefully bathed by the boys. Suddenly the conversation deepened as Ochako decided to be more direct and curiously asked what the One for All is and why does it have anything to do with the most powerful villain in all of Japan, of all people. Izuku felt that he now had the freedom to confide in more people about his newly revealed secret and explained in detail about the origin of One for All, including about the vestige world where he could interact with the former users who granted him their own quirks. Wow, you say that All Might Sensei was the one who gave you One for All, whatever it is called, an ancient quirk transferred from generation to generation, which makes you the ninth user, and besides, you got the quirks of the previous users. She summarized what she had understood. That's right. Izuku nodded to the brunette, who had just learned everything related to One for All. When he mentioned to her about the quirks he now possessed, Ochako initially couldn't believe what he just found out but then commented how cool it was that the green hair had a float quirk, which was a power similar to hers. Even Ochako invited Izuku to train privately later, intending to practice using their quirks. She also dared to challenge him to a duel in the air and jokingly tells him that he has no chance of dethroning the master of gravity. Knowing how competent Uraraka can be, Izuku determinedly accepted the challenge. Although it was a friendly one, Izuku always liked the challenges. The minutes passed and so far no one else has come down to eat, leaving the green-haired and the brown-haired one alone. Most of Class 1A didn't usually get up early when it was a rest day, which meant the duo still had some privacy. A moment that both need to take advantage of to catch up. Although Uraraka was done with her juice, she mentioned that she was still a little thirsty. Before she goes to pour herself into her glass again, Izuku graciously offered to do it for her. The brunette accepted and thanked him when the green-haired returned her glass of orange juice. Izuku enjoyed spending time with Ochako again. She had really missed her a lot, rather she missed the whole class. Of all the 19 letters that he wrote explaining his absence, Uraraka's has been the one that has hurt her the most. He didn't want to disappoint her, nor did he want to make her angry, but he also wanted to protect her and everyone else from the sights of All for One and Shigaraki. She would have had no choice at the time. He still didn't understand how his friends and classmates easily forgave him. He felt that he did not deserve it. The green-haired boy prepared to say the following. Uraraka-san, since yesterday I wanted to tell you something important. Izuku took a sip of his cup of milk before looking the girl in front of him directly in the eyes, without any shyness. Uraraka-san, I wanted to personally thank you for standing up for me in front of all those people. His tone of voice was serious but sweet. It really means a lot to me. Besides, you did a good job of restoring their faith in heroes. The green-haired smiled kindly at her, making her heart warm. It was nothing, Deku-kun. Ochako stammered as she blushed. I only did it because someone had to stop this riot. Besides, anyone could do it in my place. No, you shouldn't be ashamed of your good deeds. Don't ever underestimate yourself. I mean, you acted in time with the intention of helping me and giving everyone a unique speech with great meaning. You should be proud of yourself, Uraraka-san. You're amazing. Really. She blinked in a few seconds. Of course, yes. Izuku looked at her with a twinkle in his eyes. Your spirit of hope helped bring awareness to those people, including me. The blush did not stop being visible on her cheeks before the flattery of her crush. It was true. Even after walking down from the UA building, she was met by her parents, who were crying with joy. They had a group hug, telling her that they were both proud of her great speech and her courage to help that poor boy. No problem, Deku-kun. I had to do what I should to remember that I will always be there for you, no matter what. She lightly touched his hand that was resting on the table. It was Izuku's turn to blush, but his emotions also rose at the gesture of being protected by one of the most important people in his life. Naturally, he wants to save and protect others, but he also accepted the fact that someone else wants to protect him. After their stomachs are satisfied with their snack for the day, they got up to collect their remaining napkin scraps and then dispose of them in a garbage container. Even Izuku volunteered to wash the dishes, but the brunette insisted that she wanted to help too. After finishing their duty, Ochako asked Izuku if he wanted to go watch TV. The green-haired agreed, but before they left the kitchen, Uraraka-san, wait. The girl turned to Izuku, who seemed to want to continue the conversation. Yes. The green-haired had a sad and dull expression. Why is he sad now? Moments ago I saw him with a smile. Ochako was reminded of that countenance when he was brought by his classmates back to UA and was ostracized by those civilians currently residing on campus. She didn't like to see him sad. I wanted to ask you if Izuku played with his hands. He was nervous, but he wanted to get rid of the doubt that he was distressed. The letter. The one I sent to you and all the class. How did you take that news? I mean, did it really affect you a lot? Ochako's ears caught the breathy questions from the green-haired boy. Oh, about that. It was nothing, Deku-kun. The girl tried to divert the subject, but Izuku insisted on asking. I just need you to be honest with me. How did you really feel? He is doing it again. As always, watching out for others. She understood where Izuku wanted to take the conversation. Even despite facing problems and adversities, Izuku wants to help everyone, including his friends. It was a trait that she admired a lot about him, but at the same time he had his flaw. And that was not taking care of himself. When she received the news that Izuku left her Ua written in a letter, it disappointed and saddened her. Her best friend and crush, although she denied it, left with the intention of keeping them out of harm's way. Wei, apart from learning the green haired boy's reasons for leaving the academy and that he was the possessor of that strange power, A part understood Izuku's reasons to prevent anyone from being hurt because of him and his feeling when Izuku was disdainfully prevented from entering Ua by a mob of civilians angered by the fact that he was Shigaraki's main target. Yes, now everyone already knew about Izuku's secret. It has been a very hard moment, but the good thing is that Ochako was in charge of convincing those people that Izuku was not only a hero, he was also a person and needed to receive the same help as for them. Although it was long weeks of anguish, she still had hopes of bringing Izuku back. After all, she is a hero in training and was a big believer in the phrase, heroes never give up. Now that Izuku is here and right in front of her, she will answer his question. Well, to be honest, yes. Ochako answered calmly and expressed what she felt. Yes, I was very worried about you. I was wondering where you were all the time you were away from us. I really missed your presence and the times we spent together. She blushed a little at what he said and quickly corrected herself. With our friends, of course. I even missed hearing you mumble when you analyze quirks. She gave him a sad but tender smile. I'm so glad to see you here with us again, Deku-kun. Izuku appreciated the girl's touching words very much, but he also felt bad for what he had done intentionally. He was very attached to his goal of protecting them all from Shigaraki, all for one, or any future villain attacks against Ua. Being the current user of One for All, he was the main target of a large number of villains. It was a difficult decision that he has made since the war with the paranormal meta liberation ended, but now he felt deep remorse for abandoning his loved ones and leaving them with worry in the air. He could still remember being chased by his classmates with the intention that he come with them back to the academy. He understood that he himself needed a break, but his fear that they would die at the hands of All for One for being close to him had him very disturbed and panicked. I fully understand your concern for me, Uraraka-san. You are totally within your rights to be angry with me. I mean, I made you, Iida-kun, the whole class, Aizawa-sensei, Eri-chan, and my mother very worried. I even stepped out of line when I abandoned All Might on the streets when he was only looking out for my well-being. He confessed it, feeling a depth in his throat, and tears came out of his greenish eyes. The chestnut could feel the anguish through Deku. Is he repenting for his actions? Because of his attempt to protect them? Well, at least it was good to see that Izuku was aware of his recklessness, but it wasn't as much as apologizing enough as if he had committed a crime. It's all right, Deku. She tried to cheer him up. No, it's not okay. It's my fault. He exclaimed anxiously. Instead of protecting your lives and preventing Shigaraki from attacking Ua, all I did was make the situation worse and give all of you trouble. I was a fool to try to get away from you and refuse your help when I really needed it. Izuku couldn't contain the guilt that was consuming him inside as he fought back the flood of tears. Uraraka was moved as she witnessed Izuku's reaction as she watched him rub his eyelids with his bare hands to get the tears out of his sight. Ochako. The girl's heart pounded when Izuku called her name. I'm so sorry for everything. I'm sorry for walking away from you and leaving you with the burden of worry and anguish. That's why I deserve to be called a problem child, because I am. He spoke unstoppably between sobs. I feel like I've been a bad friend, a bad student, a bad son, and a bad hero. He didn't finish his words when feminine hands touched his wet cheeks and he heard her voice in a serious tone. Please stop. Izuku watched as Ochako's brown eyes challenged him to stop his self-loathing. For anything in the world, never say those things about yourself, Deku-kun. You didn't do anything wrong. In a few seconds, the green-haired calmed down to listen to the girl and looked at her with his wet eyes. At the same time, he felt a peaceful and relaxing vibe from the warm massage on his face. Your intention was to take care of us, yes. I admit it was reckless and risky to go off alone on your mission and that made us all worry. She exhaled before caressing the smooth freckled face of the boy she loved so much. Her hands traveled from his cheeks to his shoulders. But that doesn't make you a bad person. You made a mistake like everyone else, but you need to learn to get over it and move on. I'm sure you will because I trust you, Deku. He exhaled and took a deep breath. All those words dimmed his emotions from gray to gold. Yes, he still felt bad for trying to run away from his friends, but he will follow Ochako's advice. He needs to move on and forget about the stress of recent events. Izuku wiped away the trail of tears with his wrist and gave her a sad smile, trying not to cry. Thank you, Ochako. No problem. Duh. Her response was interrupted when the brunette felt strong arms take her by surprise and green curls brushed against her cheek. Her face turned red and her heart pounded like a drum when she realized that. Oh dear, Deku was hugging me. I could not believe it. Izuku Midoriya, the awkwardly social and shy boy towards the opposite gender with the trait of becoming nervous when a girl is around him. He himself gave her a strong but tender hug. She gasped with a growing blush radiating from her face, almost dying of passion when she felt those muscular and strong arms of the green-haired, but tried not to float to the ceiling or even avoid touching Deku with her fingertips. She didn't want to ruin this beautiful moment because of her quirk. Duh. Deku-kun. Thank you, Ochako. Thank you so much. The boy repeatedly thanked between sobs. Thank you for everything you did for me, Ochako. I really don't know how to return the favor. Izuku is very totally grateful to the girl in his arms. The green-haired boy clung so tightly to Ochako and was determined to protect her at all costs. He doesn't even want to imagine if something bad happened to Uraraka. He totally regrets leaving them all, especially his mother, but now that he had the opportunity to return, he swears to take care of them from any villain that comes. To hell with all for one and their insane threats. If that bastard dares to attack Ua with the intention of hurting her, I will definitely pulverize his rotten potato face with a tremendous smash. While Ochako herself was red as cherry inside, she was enjoying the approach and very much appreciated that affectionate affection that her crush gave her. Okay. She really admits it. You're welcome. Although there is no need. Deku-kun. Ochako murmured as her chin rested on his right shoulder. But I feel like I should do it. After all, it was thanks to you that you made me come to my senses and redeem my wrong actions to realize that I also needed the help of others. Izuku's words of remorse stopped when he just realized that he was in intimate physical contact with the brunette. Which was his turn to blush and get nervous. What am I doing? I'm invading her personal space after what she did for me. Bad Izuku. Fearing that it was a misunderstanding, Izuku quickly withdrew his arms from Ochako, who looked at him confused and was disappointed. The reason, she really liked that hug, and it should have lasted a little longer. The green-haired apologized awkwardly with a hot face. I'm sorry Uraraka. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. I should ask before I hug you. I really. But his apology was useless and instead, it made the brunette giggle. She admitted inside to consider this side of Izuku adorable. It was a relief that the green-haired kept his personality as a gentleman cinnamon roll. Quite a contrast to his scary rabbit look when he was found by her in Class 1A. Did I say something funny, Uraraka-san? Izuku arched an eyebrow in disbelief. The brunette had to contain her laugh by covering her mouth with a hand before answering him. It's just that you're still the same pure and innocent boy as always, huh, Deku? She cleared her throat a bit. Besides, I think you deserve a hug, After everything you've been through, you need to relax. Izuku was dumbfounded. She wanted to hug him. Well, I'm not one to say no, I mean I hugged you first, so I have to be fair. His stutter was silenced by Ochako's soft but warm embrace. Izuku couldn't help but blush at the physical contact but was deeply sheltered by the show of affection that had the effect of relaxing him as he felt her arms wrapped around his neck. How are you feeling now, Deku-kun? The brunette whispered through his ear. I'm fine. Now I feel better than before. Izuku's soft and calm voice answered her question. Thanks again, Uraraka-san. Deku, you already told me, thank you, several times this morning in case you didn't know. She teased, but deep down she appreciated his gratitude. His freckles are again accompanied with pigmentation and it is quickly justified. Really? I didn't realize that, but I'm still thankful for helping me, I mean, you saved me from day one. And also, you're the source of my inspiration for choosing Deku as my name hero. That's why I love you. The calm atmosphere paused for the next few seconds, making Izuku flustered and mentally cursing himself for messing it up. He was sure of what might happen next. But he was wrong when Ochako lifted her gaze to his face and gazed tenderly at him as she stroked his green curls. I'm surprised you're the first to admit it. I love you too, Deku-kun. Those revealing words made their hearts melt and they felt those irritating butterflies in their stomach. Suddenly, they both decided to play a little game of looks. The emerald orbs shared a spark of connection with the chocolate-colored ones. It was as if all the problems and anguish that they had stored in these last few weeks were erased from their minds for a while. Their game was accompanied by the countless memories of them together collected from their heads. Their first meeting, Izuku saving Ochako, Ochako saving Izuku. Both support each other, including what had happened on that rainy day where everything returned to normal. The impulses, the feelings, and also, the hormones took over in both of them. Therefore this caused both Izuku and Ochako to bring their lips closer to collide with each other and imagine being in an atmosphere full of pink and green clouds. Their emblematic colors, just them as they floated. Their lips approached in slowly about to meet and cough. Good morning, Midoriya, Uraraka. Their romantic moment was instantly broken by a harsh voice coming from behind, causing the two lovebirds to snap back into the world of reality in panic. Izuku and Ochako turned very pale as ghosts and turned to look with wide eyes at two of their classmates, who had just arrived at the kitchen and found them about to kiss. Tokiyami-kun, Kota-kun. The couple became elated with the sudden appearance of both boys. They quickly let go and distanced themselves from each other. Izuku covered his face in embarrassment at what they were about to do. How the hell could they forget that they were still in the dorms, a public place, where any of their friends would come down to eat and find them having their first kiss? What an surprise, guys. We just. Uraraka tried to explain between stammers but failed. The crow-headed boy heaved a tired sigh and answered them with disinterest. Personally, I don't care what's between the two of you. I just came to nurture myself to regain my dark forces and continue my routine. I'll pretend I didn't see anything. And then, he goes inside the place. I didn't see anything. I swear, the big guy exclaimed, shaking his head before hurrying into the kitchen following the goth boy as he dug something out of the fridge. These statements were a great relief for the blushing duo. Little by little they calmed down and continued with their routine. It was great luck that they hadn't been caught by someone more nosy, loud, or morbid, like Ashido or Mineta. If Ashido, who was a fan of romance and openly supports their relationship, would have witnessed this scene, she would have squealed like a crazy fangirl and told the rest of the girls. She could even record their moment and then share it in the class group chat. Or worse if it was Mineta. If he saw them too closely, he would be misunderstanding with his dirty thoughts between screams and sharing the gossip with the other boys. Neither Izuku nor Ochako was ready for the limelight from rumor sources. After all the shit that's happened so far, no thanks. Since they had finished breakfast, they both went to the common room to watch something on television. Izuku took the remote to turn it on and frowned worriedly when he saw that it was the morning news. Obviously not such good news. Noticing his gaze, Uraraka recommended that it would be better to watch a movie with the intention of entertaining himself and clearing his mind. After changing the channel so much, they finally found an interesting CGI movie from the pre-Quirk age, about kingdoms and magic. While the movie was broadcast, other of their classmates were coming down for breakfast or even joining the common room. But despite this, Izuku and Ochako kept their fingers linked to each other as they had fun watching the movie. They were aware of this, but now they took it in stride and did not let go. The reason was that they wanted to enjoy each other's closeness. They were both willing to take care of each other. Where stories live, discover now.